Hey, what's going on, digital nomads? We are live. We are out here. This is Judgmentalist, Big Sexy, coming at you from different parts of the world, and we know you're somewhere that we're not, because you're not physically here with us. We got a lot to talk about today. All sorts of crazy stuff. Maybe my wife, mother-in-law, are porn addicts. Maybe Big Sexy's got to be a Spanish citizen. No, that's ridiculous. What's going on, Big Sexy? How are you?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever this is hitting your ear holes, I hope that it is good.
I thought the word say there was resident,
That's where you're trying to look for was resident,
and I
Spanish
said
resident.
we went too far too fast.
Yeah. Not a Spanish citizen as of yet, and I mean technically not a Spanish resident as of yet. As when you're hearing this recording, when we drop this episode, I will be officially registered with the NOLCAP position as I got the registration email minutes before we decided to start recording. And so I had to postpone it to look through to see how easy the process was to register.
No delays. We learned that lesson the first time through.
Yeah, it is not. And my initial thought was, how cool would it be to like go through the process on air, right? We go live. I'll go through and I'll register live, and my our listeners can follow along with us. And then I realized as I downloaded the user manual that is all in Spanish, this is going to take much more time to go through and read everything, and that does not make for good podcast episodes.
What do we know?
I'll wait.
What do we know about making good podcast episodes?
Very little, but hopefully we're getting better and better as it were. But I'm really excited. It's weird. Like I got the email and suddenly my stomach started churning, and like, oh god, okay, it's I think it gets more real and more real and more real. Yeah, I accepted the position, but I didn't know where I was gonna be. Well, now I get to find out where I'm gonna be, and that's like, it's nerve wracking, And I gotta sit here and talk to y'all for an hour while that's in the back of my brain. So,
also another update as of the streaming, recording, live broadcast of this podcast. I physically possess the shirts that I owe 8 or 9 of you.
awesome.
And as I mentioned on the last podcast, I knew that they were about to be finished soon. These should be a little higher quality than where the ones that you buy online are from. Fingers crossed, and I hope. But you're also getting additional juicy Judgmentalist in Between Two Minds swag in there as well. You might even get some Mind Noodler swag depending on sizes, because A, we love you guys. B,
True.
I've got tour t-shirts sitting around from the tour that Matt and I did last year, up from Pennsylvania down through kind of the DC area and different parts of Maryland and stuff like that. If I have a size that is close to the size that you requested in the Digital Nomad t-shirts, you're going to get one of those as well. I have an inventory of Between Two Minds t-shirts, so you're definitely getting one of those, because I'm definitely going to have one that fits the size that you requested. What I have available still from Matt stuff is hit and miss, because we sold a bunch of those and I had some left over. I also dropped off
extra swag
at the churn last time. Man, I'll tell you, it is tough trying to figure out. And I know that in some conversations that he's had, Matt's talked about wanting to have more merchandise, because we get paid to do these gigs, but it's really hit and miss. And if we're doing a door split, some of them are better than others. Like I have worked shows where I'm getting a third of the ticket sales, and I've worked shows where I'm getting 100% of the ticket sales, and really everywhere in between. The popular one is to do like a 50-50 or whatnot, but I'll tell you, some of these shows I make as much money back of house selling merch as I do anything else. Like when we did I feel like like half of the audience purchased stuff at the Northeast High School fundraiser show.
Oh, nice. For a high school show, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it was an evening show. It was a fundraiser show. So it wasn't like in the middle of the day with a bunch of kids there.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Sold a ton of t-shirts. The other thing that we do in the show is I sell the video, and anybody anywhere in the world can buy this. In fact, weird people randomly do buy videos from my show, and because I've got it set up on Patreon, you can go to the Between Two Minds Patreon or buy hypnosisshows.com. It'll take you directly to this shop. Every public show that I do ends up there within 48 hours of the show. Now that 48 hours might get tweaked a little bit when I start Oregon show back to back every consecutive day. I don't know, largely because that I'm kind of doing solo and on my own. Bernardo's not going to be there. He's my tech guy because I'm a bit of a Luddite. He's sitting almost centered to this camera today with a working microphone in front of me. We are reaching the edge of my technical know-how by sitting here.
I get that. And believe me, I understand the difficulty of it. True indeed. What's that?
Yeah, the real challenge in merchandise is, because if you want to sell it in person, which is the best place to get people to do it, all right? Like you can go to, I think it's set up on the Elkton Magic shop to buy some Between Two Minds and some Judgmentalist stuff. But I will tell you right now, full disclosure, nobody ever buys any of that shit. I sell a lot of it in person after the show. But the stuff that people have to go and find and whatever doesn't happen. So the big challenge is finding stuff that is universal. And what I mean by that is there are no sizes. There are little variants in color.
And like coffee mugs and stickers and fans
easy.
And stuff.
Lapel pins, easy because they're compact. Coffee mugs, super bulky, breakable. Those are problematic. I don't know that I would do coffee mugs while they fit that mold of, universal. They don't necessarily fit the mold of I'm going to hop on an airplane and take these with me.
Back when we did luggage tags.
And I lost. Yeah. Well, I mean, we face that same challenge here because what kind of swag do we give out as a podcast? The luggage tags need to be redone because we printed those luggage tags when the Almost Psychic was the co-host here. And we don't even know who that guy is anymore.
He's gone
He's
now.
In the wind.
We got rid of
R.I.P. R.I.P. to the Almost Psychic. You've been dead for a year and a half. And we don't want to do poker chips just because we don't want to copy off of the Ice Cream Social.
That, and I don't really like the poker chip.
The poker chips are easy. The poker chips are universal, but the poker chips make more sense to them because they're a Vegas podcast. They're not, but they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I also mean that, like, here's my thing with the poker chip, right? If you have somebody a poker chip, it's just something else they got to put someplace, right? It's cute, it's cool, but in the end, it's going to end up in a drawer or, a random coat pocket or something like that. That's why I like this.
And unless somebody is displaying the upside down pineapple, they're probably not looking for something else to put someplace else.
Exactly. If you know, you know. But if you give them like a luggage tag, right?
There's a utility.
There's a utility aspect of it. That's why I like stickers. You can put a sticker on something and decorate something with it. So I like looking at things that are utility based that we can give out as swag that is just not here's the thing that you need to now find a home for. Like bottle openers, I think are really awesome. Fans are really cool. Things of that nature, something you throw your logo on. And one thing I know that we need to do, and this is, hang on one second. One thing we need to do, I want to start making sure we put websites and a QR code on our merch and things of that nature. Like I'm gonna take the T-shirts that I have, go to a T-shirt place, and have them put on the back, listen here, with the website and a QR code.
Yeah.
Right, so that out in the wild, if you see Big Sexy out in the wild, and I'm wearing some swag, or if I'm just walking, you can go, "What is that about?" Boom. I don't have to explain it to you. You can look it up. So I think that that's something we need to make sure to incorporate on all the things. Speaking of which, have you seen any of your T-shirts out in the wild?
In the wild? I don't know.
Going to the grocery store and you see somebody with an Elton Magic shirt or a
Oh,
My New.
Elton Magic shirts? Yeah. I haven't seen a Between Two Minds shirt in the wild yet, but the Elton Magic ones I have. So yeah, I mean, we definitely would love if you guys, as the listeners, are like, it'd be really cool if they had X. Well, tell us what X is. All right. And I'm not
Yes.
talking about, Elon Musk's fumble on the goal line and screwing up Twitter. I'm talking about, X as a variable for the word of the item that you were like, yeah. And ultimately, if it is something like stickers or the luggage tags that will trigger you to think about us every time you're going to travel, it's a plus.
Right. Right. And if you're looking for your own merch, you can swing on over to whereisbigsexy.com and grab, that's our merch store. That'll take you directly to our TeePublic store where, look, there's always a sale at TeePublic. I say if you go on there and there's not a sale, wait
Come
3
back tomorrow.
days and there'll be a sale. It's usually like 15 to 20% off shirts. They usually drop them down to like anywhere between 12 to 16 bucks per t-shirt. A little bit higher if you want a bigger size. But swing over and get some Big Sexy Digital Nomad merch. Shout out to our dear friend Brogan, who has done all the artwork for us over there. There is some Rainbow Dreamcatcher the Love podcast swag there as well. We don't have the Rainbow Dreamcatcher merch store on its own just yet. Since I am a co-host on both shows, then it is where it is Big Sexy. So swing on over and check out the merch. We'd appreciate it. So yeah, man, I'm really excited about this position. Like I said, I got my stomach is twisting and turning. I'm looking forward to trying to. I just translated the user manual over into a Google Doc, so I'm going to read through that Google Doc. It doesn't do the formatting, so it's all bunched together. So I got to try to figure out. Luckily, it's all numbered, so I should be able to figure out the format of that. I do want to give a shout out before I get too far and I forget. Recently did an interview with a lovely Polish couple, to Karina and Jacob Kuba, who stopped by today. Again, today's been a busy fucking day. Stopped by today to drop off keys to their flat, which we are going to rent for a couple days in July. And they were about to take a road trip from Spain back to Poland. And I told them they need to send in updates.
Yeah.
And we'll update our listeners on their journey, as it were, and let folks know where they're about. You can listen to their episode, which was recently, like the last 1 second or like 2 bonus episodes ago was their episode. You can definitely check that out. And that reminds me, I don't have a bonus episode scheduled for this coming Saturday. I got to get on the ball and interview some people.
Party time. What will your tell me about your. All right, so you're moving forward. We fixed the problem. You don't know exactly where you're going to be, but what are the dates? What dates does this start? When does this end? When are you, for lack of a better term, landlocked in Spain?
October 1st through May 31st.
Okay,
I will be working with the Spanish government as an conversation auxiliary.
gotcha. Because I have been so check this out, and I'm going to throw some. Well, I only have one potential date right now.
Oh, with that attitude, you can go out there. You're a good looking dude.
Yeah. Sometimes I just sit back and let them come up to me, but normally that's like at a hotel bar in Las Vegas, and then they want money. So that's not
happen.
That's not what we're doing here. I have started having conversations with I'm blanking on it. The people who travel agents, that's the words I'm looking for. Whew, I can speak today. Travel agents, as well as our friend Billy from
cruisehabit.com, bitches,
about joining them and being part of promoting group cruises that they're doing that I will ultimately perform for just their group. A little private thing. I may have mentioned this in the past about looking to do this, but
we talked about it for a cruise that was happening in December that you weren't able to go to.
Right. And then, so now, and this is all tentative, but it's kind of like on the fence. And if there were users, listeners, whatever, however you want to describe yourself, who would be interested in going on a quick 3-day cruise on, I think it's the new big ship that Royal Caribbean is launching. Okay. I don't even remember what it's called, but it's October, I want to say the 25th through the 28th out of Orlando. Nice. I engaged in conversations yesterday with Billy about possibly sliding into that. And so the reason that I mentioned this here, and I'm looking for feedback from anybody about possibly joining, is the ability to do this hinges upon the number of cabins that get sold under the group rate. Because, and every cruise line is a little bit different. In fact, I'm actually going to be meeting with Chris and Lisa later tonight to talk about one out of Baltimore in the spring.
Okay.
Which is
careful. Be careful because, and I know my wife doesn't listen, so I can tell you, her birthday is March 20th.
Okay.
I'm going to book a cruise around that time. I don't know where yet. I don't know. It might disembark from Spain because we'll be in Spain.
Okay.
But it's her 50th birthday. So I'm doing it really, really big.
Okay.
She wants to do a really big thing for her 50th. And we both love cruises. And, she wants to do a spa day, and cruises have spas. She wants to see places we've never been to. Cruises go to places we've never been to. So we're really looking at making that happen. So keep that window around March 20th as free as possible.
Okay. Then I will make sure that those dates are mentioned in my conversation with Chris and Lisa, gowithlisa.com, because I would love to fold this all together. I would love to bring it as an Elkton Magic thing and a Big Sexy Digital Nomad thing and try to glom on as many groups as possible, because when they're booked under the same cruise, and again, different cruise lines, different rules, so I'm not going to throw out numbers that mean anything here. I'm just spitballing and just kind of making shit up because, again, it's different for every cruise line. But as that group cruise books more and more cabins, it unlocks access to more and more stuff, including the ability to perform in like the comedy club type theater.
Right.
And you have to hit a certain number. It's not just about like, oh, look, we can offset the cost of the performers once we hit so many sales. It's not even about that. even if you were going to pay somebody directly to say, hey, I want to pay you X dollars plus put you up on this cruise to come perform for us, if you haven't sold enough cabins, you're not going to have access to a room at a dedicated time for them to actually do that performance. So all of this stuff has to come together. Sometime this week, we're going to be drilling down on the numbers of cabins that are sold on the one that Billy's working on, and they've got group cruises going on all the time.
Cruisehabit.com/BSDN.
So rolling over there to get, if you haven't already, to check out cruisehabit.com. Billy and Larissa are not the travel agents. They've got a travel agent that they're kind of linked up with that make all of this happen. But we are looking at potentially targeting that, and the information on this October 25th cruise out of Orlando is already on their website. So it's already set up as a group cruise through cruisehabit.com. If you are interested in joining it, let us know, because I have come to them and I've said, hey, I'm interested in this. This weekend might work out for me. It's a short one, so it's easy for me to get in and out. My sister-in-law lives in Orlando, so I don't even have to worry about the logistics of flying down the day before.
That's always nice.
In fact, my sister-in-law and her boyfriend, depending on that, I haven't checked the weekend with them. I'm waiting for this to solidify a little bit more, would probably join us. So check, there's one more cabin. And it falls near my mother-in-law's birthday, so we might treat her and take her. So that would be checked. So if 2 or 3 listeners were like, hey, and again, you reaching out and saying that might work for me isn't a commitment.
No, when you make the deposit, that's the commitment.
That's the commitment, right? But this stuff is moving quick to the point where I think that for that cruise, you need to have, what did he say to me? Full payment in by July something. So you do have to be ready to move on this somewhat quick. July 27th is when
and full payment is needed.
Full payment would be needed. But if you reach out and say, hey, I might tentatively be interested in that weekend, I've got a little bit more leverage, so to speak, to go to Billy and say, hey, by the way, if we were to make this work, if you've got enough cabins plus the 2 or 3 that I might be adding, or 3 or 4 or 4 or 5 or whatever, boom, we're going to be able to unlock what we need to unlock. Then it's going to happen.
It's a bonus level, cruise ship bonus levels.
And the concept that I'm working on potentially for March, which hopefully maybe we can make this all line up and work together, is it's going to be centered around Elkton Magic. So it might not fit your criteria because it's a cruise out of Baltimore that only goes to some of the Caribbean places that you've probably already been.
Well, I mean, I've only been to one place in the Caribbean.
I think that you normally do Nassau.
Wait, I don't think I've been to any place in the Caribbean.
Okay.
I've been to the Bahamas and I've been to the Dominican Republic.
The Bahamas is Nassau.
No, but I mean, like Bimini Beach is the Bahamas that I've been to.
Gotcha. So this would be Freeport, which in my experience is not worth even getting off the boat for. The Grand Turk might be in this one. I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't know, because it's different ones, different times. We haven't booked it yet, but we're working on solidifying that. So if we could lump that all together, the way that this would work is that because Elkton Magic's got a pretty big contact list, and even though the numbers are still not where I want them to be, we usually get over 100 people that attend the shows. We certainly don't expect that type of response to this,
right?
But the ability to get 20 people to sign up for this, I think that's within reach. It is going, what the way that it's probably going to be set up is it's going to be a couple of different tiers, and the tiers are going to be based on cabins sold. And it's basically going to be, hey, we're doing this group cruise. As long as we sell whatever the minimum number of cabins is to get access to a room to do the performances, you're going to get to see included just for our group a hypnosis show by Judgmentalist. Yay! Right?
Yay.
And then maybe 10 more cabins from that we're going to invite, and I've already started talking to some performers about this. So one of them that's an example that might end up appearing on a cruise like this in the future is Bubble Magician Meadow Perry. Talk to her.
Okay.
She's super interested in the concept.
And
In
she's pretty awesome too.
Yeah. She's if you have not seen her performances, and you can even social media and video does not generally do Meadow Perry's performances any justice whatsoever. It is
Right.
absolutely a you want to see this in person thing. But
You got to be there.
she recently had some video done of a performance of hers, which I think was from the Magic Castle in Hollywood, where whoever was doing this video, and I say whoever only because I don't remember the name, it's credited within the video, did a brilliant job of capturing. So search for Meadow Perry. Find if you're curious about whether or not you've got the right account, because a lot of people have cloned and spoofed her accounts.
Right.
Look for one that I'm also following, because then you'll know that you probably have the right one. I think I'm only following her legit accounts, any of the clone accounts. It's awesome stuff. The recent video is awesome. Sometimes she gets millions and millions of views on some of her TikToks and reels on Facebook, which is awesome. So she's somebody that we might have lined up as a performer. Somebody that I want to reach out to, but I haven't yet because I'm waiting for details to solidify a little bit more, is Christopher Carter. He was a huge favorite of folks when he was here at Elkton Magic in March. So he's somebody, but really you're going to end up probably getting performers that are either East Coast based or are already, or I can coordinate it when they're already coming to the East Coast. That way we're not paying flights. These folks will get paid to do the shows. They'll also get obviously everything about the cruise paid for, so they kind of get a little vacation out of it too. But yeah, apparently this is a concept. I'm glad, because I'm like, please connect me with whoever you can that's doing this already. I'm not interested in reinventing the wheel. If there's like a setup that works already, I'm going to follow that pattern, because Meadow is part of a Ren festival that does this as well. And,
nice.
So that of course parlayed into the end. If they're looking for a hypnotist, let me know. Because
I need an improviser. Let me know.
Yeah, because this is the way legitimately that I want to be performing on cruise ships. Number one, with a group of people that are looking forward to seeing me specifically. And it may not be their whole reason for going on the cruise, but a nice added perk. But also, These are one-offs. And I might do 3, 4, 5 of them in a year, but I'm not locked down in some cruise ship contract where I've got to be at sea for 3 months or 5 months or 6 months. It gives me that on-off sort of status. So hit us up
now
if you think that general, halfway to 2/3 of the way through March, if getting to Baltimore might work for you, knowing that you're not only potentially going to see Big Sexy and Noah, myself, but maybe some other magical performers. But also that October date, we need to know if you might be interested in that sooner rather than later, so that we can get the wheels moving on that.
Now, I have a feeling that the March thing most likely will be on Virgin Voyages.
Okay.
Because we still have a voucher that we need to use before May of next year. So that's going to play into the birthday cruise, because money is always a factor.
Of course.
Unless, of course, our GoFundMe blows up, which we do have a GoFundMe for Rainbow Dreamcatcher, the Love podcast. It's out and about, to help upgrade the studio equipment. What I love about that is upgrading the studio equipment means I have the studio, so it kind of also upgrades Big Sexy Digital Nomad studio equipment as well.
Go support the studio upgrades for Rainbow Dreamcatcher, the Love podcast.
The Love podcast, yes. Please swing over to GoFundMe, where you can find that and donate. Your donations will be put to good use. And also, the bigger we get subscribers here, again, all this trajectory could change from, people with nice sized pockets thinking that we do some fun shit here and really enjoy it and want to support it and have a good time and really love hearing the stories we got to tell and the people we get to meet and the things we get to do and the places we get to go and want to experience that with us. And they swing on over to bullwiththebutthole.com and decides to throw some chump change our way, can drastically change where these cruises go, what we do, and all the things that happen with it. But in the meantime, we still got to go based on vouchers and discounts and all that kind of stuff.
So I'll talk to Chris then tonight. Chris and Lisa, go with lisa.com about Virgin Voyages and options, because we have not really put this out there that we're looking at doing this as a potential Elkton Magic thing. So if doing one in March is more of a digital nomad thing on Virgin, no kids from somewhere else, let's put it in play.
And I tell you, the good thing about Virgin Voyages is you don't need to have sold a certain number of cabins in order to have access to some of their spaces.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I taught mahjong and I taught line dancing on Virgin Voyages cruises.
But is there a place where I'd be able to do my show?
There is a room called the Den that is, and at least on the Valiant Lady that we were on the way over, that is it's kind of a reading space, but it can be rearranged for a small performance space.
Okay.
And they do have some theater spaces, some stage spaces, and I have friends who work in the entertainment department on Virgin Voyages. I can definitely reach out and be like, hey, what's the process of, sailors utilizing these spaces on off hours?
Are they the same kind of people that we would talk to about, hey, what if one of these Virgin Voyages needs a hypnotist?
Well, one of them is an entertainment director, and they did tell me about, how they hire acts and the production company they go to, and they gave me the list of some production companies. So I do have the information for some production companies as well. Because remember, I do have a improv show that I'm trying to sell to cruise ships as well. And so I'll pass along that entertainment information along as well, if I can remember where the fuck I put it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think I'm going to probably end up running into the same pitfall with the contracts and the time at sea. So it's probably not going to work for me in that format. But I've got everything that I need to be able to pitch the show to a cruise line. I've got multiple versions coming of a 45 or more minute show. And the best thing about that show, as many people know, is I could stretch it or shrink it. I mean, there is certainly a floor to which I could shrink it to, but I could stretch the show as long as you need me to stretch the show. But yeah, so
you can definitely shrink it depending on how cold the water is.
It's true. But yeah, so I teased something on Twitter and or X that I kind of feel like we should talk about, only because I teased it.
Let's dive in.
I think that my wife and my mother-in-law are turning into porn addicts.
That sounds positive.
And not in the way that is going to cause them problems in Texas. They're not the traditional porn, not any sort of like kink porn, but
I'm saying, because non-traditional porn will get you in more trouble than just traditional porn.
They have been watching and binging this show on Netflix, which I think people are talking about. I think it's super popular. I don't really give a shit either way. Called Bridgerton.
Oh, Bridgerton. Yes, it's familiar for their Old English sex scenes. And it seems like every time that I walk in on them watching this show, it's in the middle of one of those scenes, or it's just about to be. You have really good timing, is what I'm hearing.
I guess I do, because the running joke in my house right now, and for anybody who does not know, we have an in-law suite, so my mother-in-law is under the same roof as us with separate spaces, and we share a kitchen. And obviously there's, commingling when you live in a setting like that. And we have one of those fun, nice outdoor TVs that doesn't catch glare on a screened-in patio. And so this time of year is high time for us sitting out there and watching television there.
On the
And-
Bowers Estate.
in the, as RJ Owens, Uncle RJ would say, in the Bowers estate, yes. So they several times I go out there. So now the running joke is that oh, are you going to watch your porno show? And apparently I
Yes.
missed a scene recently that involved, now they're getting into threesomes and other crazy stuff like that. So yeah, they're
Yeah,
not really.
I started watching Bridgerton way back in season 1, and I got to the episode 5 that everybody said you had to get to. You had to get to episode 5, episode 5, and it was just the main actor's butt. Oh, this show isn't for me. Like, they're not writing this for me.
Right.
I don't care about English court romances and that kind of drama. This is buff Harlequin novel type shit,
Yeah.
and that's just not my forte. So and I know it's popular, and I like to ingest things that the populace deems entertaining, but not everything for me. This is meant for your mama and your wife.
Yeah. That's who's watching it in my household.
Yeah. So it's not even good porn, it's soft porn. It's not even like
yeah,
good,
but it's enough for me to razz on them.
Yeah. Get your Netflix porn. I mean, Netflix porn doesn't have anything on HBO porn.
Or Skinamax back in the day.
So Skinamax. Well, I'm sorry, not HBO Max. They call back Max porn. Netflix is somewhat tame in that genre. Speaking of famous things on Netflix, did you see Baby Reindeer?
No, not yet.
I found my wife watched it, and she told me I needed to watch it, and so I finally watched it. Fuck, that show was dark.
I've heard a lot about it, but I haven't watched it yet. It feels to me like it's kind of one of those where you legit have to binge it. Like, you have to be ready to start it and just not watch anything else until you go through all of it. And I'm not there right this second. Like, there's always stuff going on.
It did help that I could binge it and get through it, in a couple sittings. Before all the my normal shows kick back on. When my normal shows on, I don't want to watch anything but those. So like I'm watching The Boys now. I started watching The Acolyte on Disney Plus, another Star Wars show, and I'm getting ready for the House with the Dragon has been re-released. I'm going to start watching those episodes. But yeah, man, I watched Baby Reindeer, and it's always funny to watch shows and then hear them discussed by other podcast folks we listen to. It's hilarious. I'm finally getting caught up on our friends over there at
Hey buddy, nice podcast.
And their Vegas trip. They went to Scoop Fest.
Yeah.
And so I'm listening to their Vegas recap. Fuck, do I have FOMO like nobody's business? Like, I'm hearing all the cool things, and all of them, man, I wish I was there. Man, I wish I was there. It's really tough because all that shit was happening while I was in California.
Yeah.
And it sucks. I really wanted to be there. And if I had a car, I would have been there. Right? But I didn't have a car, and we all went to Vegas 2 weeks prior or whatever. I am bummed that Kez and Wayne didn't hit me up when they were coming to California prior to that. I could have made arrangements to swing out to Anaheim to hang out with them and see them. So I'm a little bit bummed. I was a little bit bummed about that. But I am learning that I don't have to matter in as many people's lives as they matter in mine.
Right. Yeah.
If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I have to be okay with not being in the forefront of people's minds, even though sometimes they're in the forefront of mine. And being okay with that. And that's about as deep as I'm going to go into that, because that shit's safe for Rainbow Dreamcatcher. Yeah. But on the flip side, I don't get FOMO here in Spain because I'm in fucking Spain.
Yeah.
You know, and if FOMO tries to show its ugly head here, I go, oh wait, by the way, there's the Andalusian Sea. Or I go to a Wine Whispers on a Wednesday and meet new people. Like I met this girl from Germany last night. Shout out to Jeanette. What I am getting tired of, sometimes, depending upon my mood, is the explanation of my name, or the pushback on my name. Right? But what's your real name? I get it. Understand that I knew the name was dangerous when I took it.
Yeah.
But fuck, sometimes it isn't just like you see my name and everything. I never posted anything different than what my name is. It's my fucking name, you know. And then it's what's your real name? It's sexy. And then that look of incredulity. That's a fucking hard word to say.
Yeah.
The incredulous look that I get with people like, come on, what is your name? Fuck you. My real name is Big Sexy. Kiss my ass. But eventually everybody comes along for the ride. Eventually, I guess. I hope they do. You know, I do run into every now and then people still saying, yeah, but I still call you whatever and ask me. I said, don't. Fine. Whatever you call me when I'm not there, I don't give a shit. Just don't.
You know what you got to do? Next time you get this issue, be like, look, there's a song about me.
Haven't run there yet. I haven't been to either one of them. This is a song on my bucket list. Online. Bitches. That's my name.
How do we get that up on Spotify?
Well, I mean, honestly, that's not hard to do. I just put these episodes up.
You're not wrong.
I mean, that's
figured out how to get all these episodes up on Spotify. It just kind of happens every time we do it.
Yep.
Facepalm. Well, maybe that's the replacement for the bonus episode you don't have for Saturday. We officially released that to the world.
I think that might be the case. If I don't get an interview done before Saturday, the world gets a short video of introduction and then that song.
No. You gotta just drop it like music, like so that it ends up in people's playlists.
Oh, right. Just the song. Just the
Just
song.
the song.
Yeah. And then, speaking of which, so I started looking through what's that, Sonos is where that was created. I am definitely this weekend playing around in there and see if I can get. Part of me really wants to make a album of Big Sexy Digital Nomad songs about my travels and our things.
Here's how it works, because I was introduced to this by a fellow hypnotist colleague of mine, Colin Chapman, and he starts the process. So he's creating background music for his shows, and some have lyrics and some don't. And basically, he starts in ChatGPT, and it generates the lyrics for him, as well as the correct meta tags, so that the music feels the way that it does, that you want it to feel.
Okay.
So we're going to connect, because he's going to be doing a webinar on this topic relatively soon. So I'll make sure that you're aware of this as am I.
Please do.
Because
Yes.
what you can do is you could start this the way that he starts it, then go through the lyrics and rewrite them or replace them with the parody lyrics that you've already written.
Right.
Then try.
Because my brain immediately heard that song. I went, okay, I can write better lyrics than this.
Right. Then you drop all of that into the music generator, let it do its thing, and then you take the vocals out, and then you've got the background music for you to sing the parody over. Boom, done.
Yeah. I also like using an AI's voice to sing the parody as well.
Or do it that way. Either way. But the other thing is that here's the thing. And I don't know if it's the same program or maybe you need to use a different program, but you can upload tracks of you. So that
I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready to give AI my. I know I'm already has access to it because we have 90. This will be 92 episodes plus all our bonus episodes. So right. AI already has access to my voice.
But you could have it. You could give it more and train it so that it literally is just singing for you. Which is, again, there's a lot of conversation out there, and I tend to be more on the side of I want AI to be whatever the quote was, doing my dishes and my laundry so I can go out and create the art. But
exactly,
it's still fun to see what a handful of prompts will generate, like that song, the debut.
That is enjoyable.
Of Where in the World is Sexy.
Enjoyable, absolutely. Yeah. So I do want to give a shout out to folks at the Wednesday events that I go to. The new people that I meet. I'm meeting new people almost every week. So I think another thing that I want to do is, who is Big Sexy met this week. And so that would be Jeanette, Josh, Antonio, and Corey. Shout out to all of y'all. I hope you get a chance to listen and check this out. You got to hear your name. There were people from, again, all over the world. Josh and Corey are from the UK. Antonio is from Spain. And Jeanette, as I mentioned before, is from Germany. Josh is my friend Tiffany's younger brother. And Tiffany trying to get on the podcast as well. Have a little, coercing and say, hey, come on your podcast. Listen, check it out, whatever. And so I got some hopefully some good people lined up in a few weeks. I have some more ideas about what we're gonna do for episode 100, which you and I can talk about behind the scenes and get some ideas for that. I want to do, I love doing milestone big shit.
Yeah.
Right. So I look forward to that. So listeners, stay tuned to that. And man, I'm excited about I'm excited to register and find out where I'm going to be at in October. Like that's what this next process is that I'm about to hop into. As soon as we're done recording, I'm going to find out where I'm going to be in October, and be able to give
That's
some
an earworm. The song's an
Oh,
earworm.
it is. Yeah. And believe me, it's gonna be crazy everyone once I tweak it and fix that chorus. And but I do like it saying "Where in the world is Big Sexy." It's nice to hear my name in the song. Can't wait. Also, this is a call out to Froyo. You're on notice, son. We got some music requests for you, but if we can AI this shit, I don't want to. I want to live music it, but you're on notice. We need some bed music for our digital postcards and our Patreon readings, right? Which we have people that we support that support us on our Patreon, and we'd like to give those folks a shout out. And again, let's see, this is June. I think starting in July, I am going to make it a point to shout out our paid Patreon members at the beginning of the episode. Right? Kind of in the same vein that where our friends over at ICS do the truck drivers.
Yeah.
Truck drivers. Right now, we don't have those kind of people in that kind of level. So, but we do have people who are at a paid level. I want to give them their respects until we get too big to do so, and then we have to make changes. But
And then we'll chop it up the way we need to.
As necessary, yeah. But I
So
do
look,
want
I'm
to give.
sending you the lyrics as they are,
Got it.
so that you can turn those into what you want them to be. Send them back. I'll run them through the machine, and we'll do a new version of it.
All right. I now have some excellent creative work to invest in, and I can't wait to hear the finalized results. And what we'll do is once we get the finalized results, listeners, if you're a paid member of our Patreon, we'll definitely put it up there, and it will be available for our members to check out. And if you want to sign up, you just go on to bullwiththebutthole.com.
That's the spot.
Where you too can subscribe to our Patreon, be a supporter of Big Sexy Digital Nomad. We appreciate all that support, and everything is going well. All right, you got any shows or anything coming up? You want to promote it all?
Always. Between2minds.com, judgmentalist.com. We had a little weird issue with seethenextshow.com, so I'm tweaking that. But everything's always going to be at Between Two Minds or judgmentalist.com, probably both, because we've started to segment out when I'm doing a solo show or Bernardo's doing a solo show, so that they're all still kind of centralized on there.
Cool deal. And also, if you have any ideas of where you want to see this podcast go, or what things you want us to do or say, or what fun bits you want us to try out and check out, hit us up at bigsexynomad@gmail.com. Realize we haven't given out our email information in quite a bit. And it's a call to action, listeners. If you have an idea that you think would be all really fun to hear, then blah, 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 hit us up. Let us know. Interact, and we will make sure that your suggestion is taken seriously.
Yeah, of course. And if you think that you might be in play for one of those cruise date ranges that I mentioned, let us know. We're gauging interest. You don't need to make a commitment quite yet, but to make that stuff a reality, definitely having more folks to jump on board makes life a lot easier.
Yep. And then if you have any questions about our sponsors.
Whatever you imagine when you think of cruising might be both right and wrong, because cruising isn't one thing. I'm Bill from cruisehabit.com, and I'm a digital nomad working from ship and shore who loves sharing information to make sure people take the right cruises for them. Follow our adventures, enjoy tip videos, ship tours, and more in print and on our YouTube channel. Just visit cruisehabit.com/BSDN. We even host group cruises where you can cruise with us and get special treatment. Again, that's cruisehabit.com/BSDN or cruisehabit.com/BigSexy, whatever you'll remember.
Yep. And you know, if you're lucky enough, we'll be your special treatment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, listeners, I winked at the camera. You couldn't hear it because my eyes don't have bells on. But yeah, listeners, so y'all take care. We appreciate y'all. Thanks for listening. And in the meantime, safe travel.